So this video does contain spoilers for the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect games, but with the next game in the series coming, I wanted to talk about my top 5 characters I would like to see in the next game. So obviously if you don't want spoilers for the original trilogy, here's your chance to go now.
Lockhart QT.
So obviously, if you subscribe to me, you'll know my love for Tali Zora Vass Normandy. Not only is she best girl, but she's also my personal fan favourite.
Oh yeah, baby!
Tali's storyline would also be really cool to see continued in whether it be Mass Effect 4 or 5. I'd love to see how the Quarian and the Geths, essentially as a species, coexist after the events of Rannoch in Mass Effect 3 and obviously the defeat of the Reapers. If you chose that possibility, that is, then again BioWare have the unsurmountable task of creating a new game, essentially being Mass Effect 4, Mass Effect 5, set after the trilogy where you can have hundreds of different outcomes, so good luck to you BioWare there. But I'd personally love to see my Shepard and Tali starting a farm together on Rannoch, or maybe Tali teaming up with the Alliance and Liara to hunt down and track Commander Shepard, or maybe Tali stays with the Quarian sort of military, helping rebuild and sort of cultivize Rannoch. Again, we'll have to wait and see, but I want my girl to return. Now, Liara's a bit of a cop-out because we already know she'll be in the next game. She's in the teaser trailer and the secret transmission footage after all, and obviously BioWare have already confirmed that she's returning, for God's sake. But I think it's really exciting that we don't know what role Liara is going to play in the next trilogy. I've already done a video on this, but we could see her return as the Shadow Broker, fighting in a galaxy on the brink of a civil war right after the Reapers' defeat or control, depending on what you've picked, or Synthesis, depending on what you've picked. And again, we could see Liara again play as a Shadow Broker in a galaxy where there's now a power vacuum created, with obviously the Krogan rising if you chose to cure the genophage, and then obviously you've got remnants of Cerberus still out there somewhere, and then obviously you've got Omega, the Alliance, and so many other sort of species potentially fighting for territory and power. So again, we'll have to wait and see. But we could also see her as a much older matriarch, leading perhaps a squad of Asari, or just a squad in the Alliance, looking for Commander Shepard. That's a theory that I've seen cropped up a lot. Or we could see her as a new mentor to a new playable protagonist. Again, we'll have to wait and see. Next up is Garrus, Mr. Archangel himself. I'd love to see Garrus return as, you know, although Joker fits this role as well, Garrus is Shepard's best bud. He helps you fight, and cracking one-liners whilst he's doing so, making it look so easy. He's trying to one-up Shepard every time. I really particularly love his sort of friendship, I guess, like, I don't know, bonding scene that they have in the Citadel DLC, you know, where they're sniping on top of the, in the Citadel quite high up. I really love that scene. I think that's a perfect example of why Garrus should return. Garrus would add some much needed charm and swagger into a potential new squad or new team, and once again he could also be teaming up with the Alliance, or, you know, like fan favourites such as Tali or Liara to help find Commander Shepard, or again could be another new mentor to a new protagonist. Next up are the relationship combo duo of EDI and Joker. Now I know it's a bit cheating having 2 characters, but I'll explain why. Now, EDI's fate is a bit unknown if you picked what may be the canon ending for the next Mass Effect game. Again, we don't currently know. But if you guys picked Perfect Destroy, EDI is seemingly dead. But Cerberus or the Alliance could have a way to rebuild, remake, or revive her. EDI's transformation from essentially AI with shackles to independent being, learning about humanity and the rest of the galaxy, could be brought into full display, with maybe part of her new story in the new game revolving around a new version of EDI with no prior memories to Mass Effect 1, 2 or 3, fighting against the Normandy crew or helping them. Imagine that, we're actually fighting against I don't know, like a Cerberus version of EDI that's essentially EDI but with no memories, and imagine how Joker would react to that. This then brings into account Joker. Joker's return also depends on Seth Green's involvement in the next game, as he's a big name actor, obviously creator of Robot Chicken, and he also plays Chris in Family Guy and numerous more roles. But I'd love to see Joker to come back, as he's funny, he's cynical, but you know, it's just in such a sort of dark humour sort of way, and he's one of the only characters that is actually by Shepard's side and has Shepard's back and is 100% loyal from the beginning of Mass Effect 1. The only other character that you could question that is Garrus, which is really odd, and technically Anderson as well, I suppose, but you know, Mass Effect 2, I guess, but hey ho. Also, I'd love to see the continuation of their relationship. As I said earlier, EDI and Joker have an amazing relationship in Mass Effect 3, and you sort of see it build up in Mass Effect 2, and obviously it reaches its climax in Mass Effect 3. And I'd love to see how Joker would react to either reviving EDI or again fighting EDI. Again, we'd have to wait and see. Lastly, we have Rex and the entire race of the Krogans. Again, I'll explain. Lastly, we have Rex. Again, this all depends on player choice, as in Mass Effect 3 it's up to the player if the genophage is actually cured or not. Again, this creates a whole can of worms. I'm going to have to do this like a whole video on some of these topics individually, but if the genophage is cured as per the Perfect Destroy ending, we could see a completely new Krogan civilization essentially rebuilt from the fact that they can now again breed. Perhaps the new threat to the galaxy is now the Krogans, as the Salarians feared. Perhaps in doing so with the genophage doing the right thing seemingly, the Krogans then rebuild and take over. I'd love to see Rex in this sort of new environment. Perhaps he's fighting a sort of Krogan warlord who's hellbent on galaxy and universal domination. Again, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe the Krogans are just fed up with the way they've been treated with obviously the Salarians and the other species, so the genophage, and maybe they want revenge, as in proper revenge, now that they have the means to do so. Rex has been loyal since the ending of Mass Effect 1, again depending on what choices you pick, and you get to see his relationship with Shepard blossom in Mass Effect 2. Obviously he's not a squad mate, but you again get to team up with him, and he gives you helpful information, and then he teams up with you even more in Mass Effect 3, including the Citadel DLC, and I think it would be really interesting to see how he evolves as a character now that the Reapers are defeated and the galaxy has potentially a new civil war or power vacuum issue. And again, I'd love to see him being essentially heralded as part of the saviour of the Krogans with Shepard, and how he reacts to that, and how maybe he tires from a life of, you know, ruling, and maybe he wants to go back to being part of the Normandy crew. Again, we'll have to wait and see. And obviously there's loads more characters I'd love to see, but I'll save that for sort of a sequel video to this where I'll cover characters like Miranda and Jack. Again, you're gonna have to wait and see for that. I'll do a future video covering more characters I want to see, because if this was all the characters I wanted to see, honestly it'd probably be about 3 hours long. So anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and tell me in the comments below, is there a character that I've missed that potentially you want to see return? And if you do want to see any of these characters return, let me know in the comments below, what stories do you think they'll bring to the table? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.